Rivian versus Tesla, which is the better stock to buy? This video is going to provide an update on Rivian and an update on Tesla for deliveries. Then we're going to do a side-by-side comparison. I'll tell you which one I think is the better stock to own. So Rivian is currently up about 4% today off some news that I'll share with you here in a second. The high today was actually 2105. It popped up and dropped at open. Over the past 5 days, this stock is up 46.8%. So it's running very hot. Year to date, it's up about 17%. Over the past year, it's actually down about 25%. This is trading right now around a $19 billion market cap. You can see the 52-week low is $11.68. The 52-week high, $40.86. So why has Rivian stock rocketed 46% over the past 5 days? Part of it's traders, analyst upgrades, anticipation for some of these numbers. So this is just this morning. The stock surged nearly 7% after the company began delivering electric vehicles to Amazon in Europe. This is Rivian's first commercial shipments outside of the United States. On Monday, the automaker stated that it produced 13,992 automobiles during the second quarter, and that's at its manufacturing facility in Illinois, and delivered 12,640 vehicles above the average estimate of 11.3K. So Amazon will deploy its first European vans from the US electric maker in Germany over the coming weeks. Amazon said that 300 electric vans will hit the roads in cities like Munich and Berlin, and this is part of a 100,000 vehicle order that it made in 2019 from Rivian. So Wall Street analysts are starting to upgrade this stock. Davidson here, a neutral rating after having the electric vehicle makers slotted at underperform. So they upgraded it from underperform to neutral. And Needham reiterated a buy rating at Rivian Automotive and added the EV stock to its conviction list. The firm lifted the price target to $28. Why? Because they expect better than expected Q2 production and delivery numbers. Analyst Chris Pierce said Rivian is answering 3 questions from investors. Number 1, is there demand for the vehicle? 2, can the vehicles be manufactured at scale? And 3, is there leverage on per unit costs? So Pierce and team think that Rivian investor sentiment should start to reflect increased confidence in the R2 vehicle, which opens up a significantly larger total addressable market. Now remember that Amazon owns about 17% of Rivian. And again, Amazon agreed to buy 100,000 vehicles by 2030 as part of an effort by Amazon to lower carbon emissions. And you probably remember when Amazon stock was getting beat down in 2022. Part of that reason was for the losses that they suffered from Rivian stock. Here's a headline back from April 2022. Amazon takes $7.6 billion loss on Rivian's stake after EV company stock plunge. And Rivian could actually loosen its ties to Amazon. There's been a lot of talk about that in the news over the past several months. So if Rivian could start producing these for other companies, that could open up the gates and the total addressable market. Now, Tesla over the past couple of days also confirmed new record deliveries and beat expectations. So if you remember, I did a video on Saturday and I told you that you'd probably hear from Tesla on Sunday, and I expected a beat, and we got exactly that. So on Sunday, Tesla announced it delivered 466,140 electric vehicles in the second quarter of 2023, easily beating estimates of around 440K units. The company produced 479,700 vehicles in the same period. So these are record results for Tesla in the first quarter of 2023. Tesla delivered 422,875 and produced 440,808 units. And this, of course, beat Wall Street expectations, and it sent the stock higher. So the second quarter numbers represent 83% increase in deliveries compared to the 254,695 reported during the same period a year earlier, and 10% in growth sequentially compared to 422,875 in the first quarter of 2023. So back to Rivian. Despite this slow start, Rivian said it would help accelerate output throughout the year by streamlining production and slashing costs. And so far, this is paying off. It's an increase of 48% from that first quarter. The number crushed expectations. Analysts were forecasting 11,000 deliveries. And Rivian says it believes it's on track to deliver on the 50,000 annual production guidance it has been standing by all year. Rivian is seeing a robust backlog of pre-orders that extends into 2024. That's significant news as it shifts focus to R15 electric SUV production to meet the demand. Now, one thing to note here is that Tesla is going to be rolling out its Cybertruck later this year. Will that impact the demand for Rivian or not? Top comment here. I don't think the market yet understands Rivian's potential here. Even with today's stock action, I think once they see the lower net loss number for Q2, they will have a greater handle on it. I expect Q2 numbers are going to shock to the upside versus analyst expectations. And it is so obvious Rivian will handily beat 50K production this year. Now, the contrarian side of this, the company still expects to produce those 50,000 units for 2023. That's nearly double last year's production, but well below the 60,000 Wall Street had been expecting. And this talks about production issues at its main factory in Illinois continue to haunt the Rivian story, which has reservations that we estimate are in the 120K plus range. Unfortunately, did not give the actual number last night, with production levels at a softer 50K in 2023. So if they have 120K in backlog, that's a huge number, and it's going to take a long time to produce the vehicles that are in demand. So that's a positive, but also a negative. They need to ramp up production. Of course, when you ramp up production, that's expensive and it costs money. So how much cash does Rivian have? About 11.24 billion as of March 2023. Now that might sound like a lot of money, but remember, to ramp up production, it's very expensive. And there's some different numbers online, but just for a ballpark here, Tesla's Austin Gigafactory to be about a $10 billion investment. So could Rivian take that $11 billion and build something like Austin's Gigafactory? That's certainly a possibility. I think it's just good to look at some of these numbers to have an idea for perspective. So which is a better stock to buy, Rivian or Tesla? Well, these companies are in very different stages of that life cycle. Tesla had lots of growing pains as well. And I did a video comparing Tesla and NIO, and we made some of the same comments in that video. But just to do a direct comparison, price to sales ratio. So on the right here is going to be Tesla, left is Rivian. So if we look at price to sales ratio, Tesla's about 10.26 and Rivian's about 8.14. So Tesla is slightly more expensive on that PS ratio. And price to book, 18.45 versus 1.44 according to Fidelity for Rivian. Now, of course, the big difference here, earnings per share, positive 85 cents for Tesla, negative $1.25 for Rivian. And the PE for this year's estimate on Tesla is 80, for next year's estimate 58. Of course, Rivian does not have a PE ratio, and they're not going to be profitable for quite some time. So this is Rivian here. When the stock was $32.91, the PS ratio was about 24.38. When the share price was $18.43, it was around a 10 price to sales. At $15.48, the price to sales was 6.4, much more attractive. And when the stock's closer to $20, you're looking at over 8 price to sales. So next, let's look at a chart, and then I'm going to provide my commentary and share with you which stock I think is a better buy, Tesla or Rivian, and the reasons why. Before we go on, if you're new here, please subscribe to the channel, click that bell for notifications. I'm trying to get this channel to 50,000 subscribers this year, and you can help me out by subscribing today. Also, if this video is useful, drop me a like and drop me a comment. And I do need to announce that this video is sponsored by the Motley Fool. If you'd like to see the 10 best stocks to buy now, visit fool.com/firedupwealth. A reminder that Fool doesn't tell me what content to create on YouTube. They don't tell me what to tell you guys or what videos to make. They're a great partner, and check those guys out. And you can also join our private community, Patreon, Discord. We've had exponential growth over the past couple of months. Join us by visiting patreon.com/firedupwealth. This is the best investing community on the planet, and we're just getting started. Join us. So looking at Rivian chart, back in March, it was $12.58. In April, it was down at $11.68, and it has bounced nicely off there. You can see a big spike here. So the yellow line is that 50-day moving average. The red line is going to be the 100-day moving average. This is a simple moving average. And then the purple is the 200-day simple moving average. And you can see it rallied from basically the 50-day moving average up to that 200-day moving average. Now, it is seeing some resistance here around $20, $21 a share, and it could consolidate, maybe come back to the R3 closer to $18, $19. If the momentum continues, this stock could go higher. The top of this Fibonacci retracement's around $26 a share. And of course, this channel is focused on long-term investing, so fundamentals are most important, and what you're paying for a stock is important as well. We're going to talk about which stock is the better buy here in a second. Next, let's look at Tesla's chart. Hopefully you watched the video on Saturday, the 7 best stocks to buy now. Tesla was the first stock on that list, and it was trading then around $260 a share. Of course, we got that news over the weekend on Sunday, and on Monday, the stock popped up back over $280 a share. We said on Saturday when it was $260 that we're probably going to get some positive numbers there and that the stock could go back up to $300 a share. I think it's still panning out. That's probably going to happen here soon. But of course, Tesla was $101 just in January, so both of these stocks have run very hard. So which stock is the better one to own? These companies are in very different stages of the life cycle. Tesla went through a lot of problems as well, and it took a long time for Tesla to really figure itself out. Tesla's on fire right now. It's a mature company. It's probably going back over that $1 trillion market cap. And Tesla, I would define as a growth stock. The thing about Tesla too, of course, it's much more diversified than Rivian. Tesla's not just doing electric vehicles. You've talked about solar, battery storage, robo-taxis, Optimus, their robots, artificial intelligence, and much more. So Tesla is what I'd call a green energy conglomerate. It's almost like its own little ETF. And I do think that Tesla is going to do well over the next 5 and 10 years. Of course, there's risk with any stock, and Elon Musk being at the helm is very critical, I think, to that success. If something were to happen to Elon, it'd be very similar to what we saw with Apple and Steve Jobs. Now, I do think that both of these stocks are probably going to go higher if the market stays bullish. Rivian is going to be more of a spec stock. It's more of that story. It's not as tangible. It doesn't have the earnings. It's more of a price to sales. And there's speculation that the company is going to grow into its valuation, that it's not going to burn through all its cash, and that it's going to be successful on the other side. And that story could take years to unfold, just like Tesla's story did. I own Tesla, and I'm very bullish on Tesla. I do like Rivian. I don't own the stock. If I were to rank top EV stocks, Tesla would be number 1, and Rivian would probably be number 2. Part of the reason for that is that Amazon relationship and the ownership by Amazon. And I like Rivian's products, the pickup trucks and the vans. And I think the company could do well, but it is more of a spec stock. So for me, if I'm buying one stock, it's going to be Tesla, but Rivian could do well. In fact, Rivian could have more upside. There's more risk reward with Rivian, so you could make more money, but I think you have the potential to lose more money as well. To me, Tesla is more of the no-brainer stock. And I know some people are going to be watching this saying that, Tesla's too expensive, you're crazy. I want everybody watching to drop me a comment below. Let us know, which stock do you think is the better one to buy now or to own? For me, I would probably buy Rivian, but it would have to come down in its price. And it would be in my spec basket. It'd be a smaller position than Tesla. I hope this was helpful, guys. Drop me a comment below. Let me know which company that you prefer, Rivian or Tesla. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Drop me a like. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.